You've got mail.
Today's Daily Mail Call comes from the Book of Psalms, chapter 69, from verses 22 through 28, entitled, The Fate of Enemies. Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their loins continually to shake. Pour out thine indignation upon them, and let thy wrathful anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents. For they persecute him, whom thou hast smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded. Add iniquity to their iniquity, and let them not come into thy righteousness. Let them be blotted out from the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous. Once again, this Daily Mail Call comes from the Book of Psalms, chapter 69, from verses 22 through 28, entitled, Fate of the Enemies. Yo, what's going on, peeps? Man, I apologize for what happened because my streaming program, as soon as that intro was done, it went all the way to 0 kilobytes. It went to 0, like right after. So who knows what's going on here, man? You know, I was looking at my settings and all that stuff, and everything was fine. And who knows, man? It threw me off. It threw me off big time. So I try to stand it. I try to just hold on and just leave it, but then realize that it I guess the stream key changed, so I had to redo the whole setting up of the stream again. Nonetheless, man, I think this is a very tiny channel, man. I don't attract in a live show. I haven't attracted anything more than 20, maybe 25. I don't know. But it's just a sign of the times, man. These MFers they're looking to wipe out any type of channel that has anything to do with exposing what's going on here, and also especially with people who love to share the gospel of Christ. And I'm talking about the biblical gospel of Christ. I'm not talking about, the feel-good charismatic stuff here. We don't do that here. See, now I'm lost about what I was going to talk about. I mean, typically I don't come on with a plan to talk about something. I definitely wanted to talk about things, but this whole thing threw me off and kind of got me angry. Nonetheless, I'm just glad some of you guys were able to find your way over here, and I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you so much. Let me say hello to people. Hello to Rebecca, Eric, and Tanette. I know Brother Hulk was somewhere there, and Brother Allen. I don't know if they're still here, if they're able to figure out what happened, but I'm here, Let's see. Let me see what's going on in the chats here. Yeah, I apologize for the cursing, man, and as of lately, I've been very upset about things. And I think it comes from righteous anger. But the righteous anger has definitely affected me in some other things too, as far as getting angry easily. Not that I had the patience to begin with, because I've built up to where my patience is for the past few years, but I was definitely tested yesterday. But I kind of see it. I see the old impatient guy coming back again, with getting angry because of everything that's going on. not only with the world, but also my personal life, man. Let me see. Thank you for that, Rebecca. We can hear you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You can say you pressed the wrong button. Nah, I wish that was the case, but no. These programs are made. I kind of want to say, well, because I've been using this for years now, I kind of want to say it's kind of stupid proof, but I don't think I pressed the wrong button. I think I just talk about the wrong things in the eye of the world. That's what it is. Major fruitcakers. Anyhow, so I was able to catch a couple of videos yesterday that were interesting to me, and actually one of the videos was an actual movie. I don't know if you guys saw the community post that I made, that they're actually streaming the movie of Jesus Nazareth for the past couple of days, and I don't know how long that's gonna be, but it seems to be that they're playing it on loop, which is cool. And that's one of the movies that I remember way back when I was young. And it gave me, being in a different mindset than I was when I last saw that movie back when I was a child till today. Knowing a lot of the biblical stories than before to today gave me a lot of insights about the things that were going on in the movie. They're trying to portray what the Bible, the stories of the Bible and stuff like that. But before I even go to that, there was another video that I caught yesterday. I mean, I admit I kind of fell asleep to it because I watched it on replay, and it was an interesting conversation about how believers, and I'm definitely guilty of this too, that sometimes we feel like we're just going through the motions of prayers and reading scriptures and communicating with Christ and all these things, because I get like that a lot. I definitely get to the point where it's just going through the motions, but honestly, I'd rather be in that state rather than not to be a believer, because at least I'm still in the state of believing that Christ is there for me. It's just that I'm not as sincere, like my heart's not all in it. And I kind of get it too, because the things that the world is throwing at us, the things that the devil's throwing at us, it kind of makes you see, the devil doesn't want you to take one side or another. I don't know if you guys understand this. I don't think you understand that the devil he doesn't want us to take one side or the other. He wants us just to be right there in the middle where we're comfortable, because it's not too much work for him to do. If you choose the wicked side, there's still work that needs to be done to get you all wicked, to harden up your heart. But if you're in that lukewarm state, that's exactly where Satan wants you, because he does the least work when it comes to that. The devil's like, oh, this is perfect. This is where I want him. He's not on fire for Christ, nor is he that evil. He's just, and that's kind of what going through the motions is. But I'm not, like, spiritually, I don't think I'm there. I just feel that some days it's just, it just seems like I'm just doing it just for the sake of doing it. And I know that shouldn't be where I'm supposed to be. But the truth is, man, and this is why it's important to have fellowship with people and surround yourself around people who are fellow believers, who help uplift you. Because can you imagine going through this type of path by yourself? Man, it'll be hard. It'll be definitely hard. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so grateful for being a part of such a community like you guys, and also, a few days ago, when I connected with a friend of mine. He invited me over to an actual Bible study that's going to happen this next week, Tuesday. And I'm excited for that. It's going to be my very first physical Bible study. I've never actually been to a so-called Bible study in person. I've done Bible studies online with the pastor I used to go to online. So I'm kind of excited about this whole thing, and looks like we're going to be talking about the Gospel of John. So I'm definitely going to be brushing up on that for the next couple of days. Not to mention that we're going to be busy this weekend with events, which is why I won't be able to stream on Sunday. I know Rebecca was asking me about that, and no, I won't be on Sunday because I have an event I got to do. But I'm very excited about this Bible study that's coming up next week, Tuesday. I mean, I'm hoping, man, I'm hoping that we're all in the same mindset here. Because if it's going to be something that's not what I think it, that's going to disappoint me. But we shall see. We shall definitely see. But yeah, that's one thing I wanted to kind of touch bases on, is that, are you guys feeling the same way as I am some days? Are you feeling like you're just going through the motions of just reading scriptures and just praying to Christ? I had to apologize for that today. And honestly, I had a great conversation with the Lord this morning. Actually, it brought me down to tears because of the things that are going on. And I've noticed that a lot of, I see a lot of these, I guess you can call them independent journalists that are on YouTube trying to expose certain type of things. And sometimes when I watch these people, man, it's like, man, this is surface level stuff. You're late to the game. You're telling people, we got to do something about this. But the problem is, it's already here. We're here. We're already here. The things that you're telling people, 2020 should have told you that it was here. If they were able to completely stop the country or even stop the world, they're here. Everything that they've been planning is here. Now, I was watching one of Call's videos this morning about how the feds have given authorization to use for the use of force on the civilians, man. And I was like, oh man, we're here, man. This is it. So, my family in Christ, this is going to be a rough ride, but our faith has got to be definitely strong, man. Your prayers have got to be more than ever. Your face planted on the scriptures have got to be more than ever. Because this is not a time to play around. And watching these videos too of the things that are going on in NC, in North Carolina. It's very frustrating to see, and this is coming from a guy who used to be in law enforcement, man. It's very frustrating for me to see cops taking orders, man. And threatening citizens that are trying to get into their destroyed homes to gather whatever left they have that they can. They're threatening him to go to jail. I said, man, Lord, I'm so glad that you yanked me out of that job, because I couldn't do that. There's just no way that I can't do that. And that's probably one of the reasons why I just can't do that job anymore. Because I don't find it in myself to screw people like that. I don't. I've played the game when I was younger, but especially now with my heart that has softened and a relationship with Christ that's just, I just can't do that anymore. And to take things to another level, these people, and I think I've mentioned this too on other streams, that these other people who who work for these agencies who are just cold-hearted. Either they're cold-hearted or they're just straight out stupid. I think, and I'm kind of leaning more towards the cold-heartedness part, because I've seen the types of people that would. One of the reasons why I left was because of the newer generation of people that the younger generation that they were hiring. I didn't see eye to eye with these people, man. And that's one of the major parts why I left. On top of huge trust issues, I left because I saw things changing that I didn't like and that I didn't agree with. You know, it's not in my consciousness to just take orders just for the sake of taking orders, you know? And I know I pledged, I've sworn to defend the Constitution and all that stuff, but every day that's been passing since I quit, it seems like that piece of paper that's supposed to be protecting our rights isn't doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm very concerned about what's going on here. You know, the type of people they're hiring as cops and people who work for these 3-lettered agencies, or even, the acronym agencies that people work for. I'm very concerned. A lot of these people, they don't care about nothing but themselves and the machine. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I just can't go back to that type of job. I can't. I don't have that in me. I don't. It's frustrating. Nonetheless, man, I'm going to read stuff here in the chats. And thank you so much for spending your time with me. I mean, you could have been anywhere today, but you're here today with me and hanging out, and I'm glad to have a place where we can just be together, talk about the things that we're seeing, the things that we're hearing, and also, and most off, being able to glorify our Lord Jesus Christ, who's the ultimate Savior, man. Eric Yord says Nelson Waters just did a vid on that about 10. Oh, okay. Sleeping Church. Tonette says better hot or cold than lukewarm. Right? But I think the devil absolutely wants people in the lukewarm state, because that's the least amount of work he has to do. It's just right. It's just perfect. Eric says he feels me on that. Eric says 4th and goal. Yeah, man. I haven't read the document yet, and I think I'm going to take some time to read that thank you for dropping it down there, Eric. I'm going to take some time to read that, man. Honestly, man, I got a family member that works for the DOD. And I have, I really don't know how this is all going to pan. I mean, I have an idea how this is going to go, but I don't know for sure. It's just a theory in my head. But they're definitely taking up a lot of people who, I don't know where to begin with this thing. This is the reason why they want our children stuck in front of screens. This is the reason why they don't want children to learn about Christ, is because they want them they want them without feeling. They don't want them to have some kind of personal relationship with people, man. And for my household, man, I got to admit, I'm stuck in a dilemma because my daughter's been homeschooled ever since. And I always stress out the importance of having a relationship with somebody, having contact with somebody, talk to somebody in real life, because once you start having this relationship with a screen, it's going to be easy, especially for her generation. I mean, we see the implementation of these robots coming in, right? We see that Leon Mux wants to normalize these robots that his company has made. And like today, I said to my daughter, I asked her, hey, if there was a robot, would you talk to the robot like a normal human being? Her answer was no. And I told her, I'm like, look, if you're ever faced with that kind of stuff, don't ever treat them like they're human, no matter what. Even if my face or your mom's face or your friend's face or your brother's face is on that robot, don't ever believe that that robot is some kind of entity created by God, because it's not. Those things are trying to, when you have a personal relationship with these things, they're collecting data from you so that they can try to emulate how we are. But the problem is, they're never going to be us because they don't have a soul just like we do. You know what I mean? That's one thing that these machines will never have, is a soul. But I would say this honestly too, because of how people have been programmed. People are losing their souls, man. And you see it, you see the normalization of just talking to somebody coldly, insulting them with a lot of insulting them with words that pretty much death, right? People are pretty cold about the things that they say these days, and I think social media is a big problem because of that. Because people, they type up stuff online with no repercussions because it's in front of a screen. The repercussions that they're going to get at the most is just a reply back for what their comment is. But there's no actual person in front of them to punch them in the face or whatever the case is if they're going to insult them, This is how society is, man. This is why people have gone astray and don't know how to talk. Like the young people, they don't know how to socialize with people. They can't even look you in the eyes, straight in the eyes when they speak to you. Isn't that weird? To me, that's definitely not normal. I was never taught to look somebody in the eye. It's just one of these things that I kind of learned as I was growing up, that if you're interacting with somebody, especially if it's your elder or somebody of a authority, you look them in the eye so that they gain your respect, because you're giving them your attention and respect. You're giving them your time and attention to listen to what they got to say. But a lot of these young people, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to talk. They don't know what to say. They don't even know how to do a proper handshake. I really don't recognize this world that we live in today. And the change is here, whether we like it or not, whether we want to accept that fact or not, it's here. We're here. All the things that we were warned about, it's here. And all these, so-called YouTube journalists or whatever you call them, they're giving you level surface stuff, man. We all know what's going on here. It's our duty to have this relationship with Christ so that we be covered. We picked a side. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reel people in to come in under the umbrella. Because there's no more time. Once 2020 happened, that was the end of it. We're never going back to that. These sick people are trying to change this world into something else. Even during this process of its changing, I don't like it. I don't care for the convenience of things with technology. I really don't. Because this is not the world that I grew up in. I don't know what this place is anymore. You know, the only thing that's keeping me sane here is Christ. He's the only purpose of why I'm able to understand why this is. You know? And I was listening to I think it was sometime last week, one of Brother Hulk's fellowships, man, and he was talking about, it could have been 2 weeks ago, but he was talking about the people who follow Christ outwardly as opposed to inwardly. And as I was watching, I was watching Jesus of Nazareth yesterday, man. And there's something that I noticed about because for me, I'm a visual dude. I need things to make sense in my brain visually. I mean, reading is cool. I'm not a big reader, but with visuals, it helps me understand things a little bit more. I've noticed that, Jesus Christ Almighty, he really gave his time to the poor, he saw more real people. He saw more real people with the poor, with the sinners. He saw how real they were as opposed to these people who would outwardly worship God. And it's amazing because now I'm seeing I'm seeing a lot of stories about a lot of these people who you wouldn't even think that they would come to Christ, but they have. I'm one of them. I never wanted to have this relationship with him. I didn't care about it. A lot of people that I've interacted with who are in this path today, a lot of them didn't expect this. Some of them were atheists. Some of them didn't even care, but here we are today, man. The nobodies. We're being noticed by Christ. We're being called by Christ. And that's something special, man. When you have a gift like that where Christ is calling you to do his work, it definitely is an honor. Because for years and years and years, I was just another face in the crowd to the world. But because of the grace of God and because God picks who he picks, I'm not trying to say I'm special, man, because I'm not. I'm just as valuable as all you guys. I don't seek to be any face of or any representation of this world. I really don't. Even prior to my relationship with Christ, I never wanted to be. That wasn't part of me. I didn't want to be a star or somebody famous, or I didn't want any of that. I wanted money, but I didn't want anything else that, whatever Hollywood was pushing out. I didn't want that. I wanted money. That's all. But it's really something else when you see, when I was noticing, like, wow, man, Christ, Jesus, he dined with them. Even when his disciples were telling him, don't go, or even when the Pharisees were telling him, why are you doing this? And instead of having to insult the Pharisees and all that stuff, he told parables, man. He appealed to the intellect. And that's an awesome way to kind of, stick it to them without being hateful and rude. So you make him think, But today, these days, I don't know if today I don't think something like that would be able to happen today, because the mind these days just it doesn't think deeply like that. Like it, I mean, I'm not a learned dude. Uh, I'm not that intelligent, but I do have my moments where I'm in deep thought, man. Today was one of those days in deep thought about the state of where we're at today. But I'm definitely honored, man. I'm definitely honored to be called to do something like this. You know? I hope you don't think I'm some kind of whack job that thought I heard Christ's voice. Look, man, I'm doing this out of my will. I'm choosing to do this because I understand that this relationship that I have with Christ is a real thing. And for the unbelievers, I'm telling them, man, you think you know, but you really don't. You really don't. The only way you're going to find out is if you have that personal relationship. It can't be proven scientifically. Yeah, you're right. It can't be. But when you see the actual changes in your own life and how that affects other people and how you treat other people and how you speak to them, and to top things off, the things that you're able to see and the things you're able to hear, you don't partake in this anymore like you used to. I may dabble a little bit in the world, but it's not like it used to be. You know? I really want to plead out to those people, man, who doubt. And I get upset every time I see these videos of the unbelievers and what they have to, like, they talk like they know what they're talking about. And in honesty, a lot of these people don't even read the scriptures. Or even if they do, even if they said that they used to be Christians and stopped believing, they weren't seeking him how they should have been seeking him. You're supposed to seek Christ, so you seek a relationship with him. This has nothing to do with any religion, man. How many times have I said to you, all you guys, that I don't profess to be a Christian, man. I don't want to belong to any type of group of people. I just want to follow Christ, man. That's all. I don't need to represent a group of people. I don't want to be a representative of a group of people, because my faith is not through that group of people or that group's name. My faith is through Christ Jesus Almighty, man. The reason why I don't do that is because a lot of people will misrepresent the title of Christian. And we see it. We see it every day. And on top of that, they blaspheme. They blaspheme Jesus Christ Almighty, man, which is, it's the unforgivable sin, man. I don't want to be attached to that. I'm just pleading to people to seek him. Honestly. A part of seeking him and to get the answers that you're looking for is that you got to humble yourself, man. You got to, whatever it is that whatever pride that you're holding on to in your heart, you got to let that go. You know, time's running out. You're not bigger than anybody out there. You're not bigger than Christ Almighty. You ain't bigger than anything. If anything, your pride will destroy you. And we've seen how pride destroys people, right? Makes them blind, makes them deaf, makes them stupid too. We've evolved. This society has evolved to make yourself God, you know? And we're not. Idol worship. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't want to be on the wrong end of the stick with Christ when judgment comes, man. I really don't. I'm afraid of it. You know, I never used to care so much about it. I've said this before. I was okay with going to hell before. I've said that many times before in my life, man. Today, I don't say that kind of stuff, man. I think that's stupid to say. I already see how wicked it is. I already see the evil. I already see the capability of wickedness can do. I already see what it is. I've already seen what it is to live my life separate from Christ. And I don't want to even go deeper than that. What I've experienced and what I've seen. I don't want to experience it nor see further than that, because I know life without Christ eternally is way worse than what I can imagine. And I really don't want to. I don't want to know what that's all about. One, I'm scared. Two, I love Christ so much, man. He's done so much for all of us. And I'm glad that I watched that movie, because having to see the illustration, I'm not going to say to myself that that's a real thing actually happening. It's an illustration of what Christ did. And it was a good reminder for me. You know? Let's see what's going on here in the chats. What's going on, Nana P? Nice to see you out there. What's going on, Luke Donelli? Good to see you out there, Shulamite. Man, I love seeing the family out there, man. It's you guys don't understand how relieving it is to see the usual names on the chats, man. You know, I wish, and maybe one day, right? I wish we can like just physically hang out and, I don't know, have a good meal and just chop it up and fellowship in real life. It'll be a beautiful thing, man. Because sometimes this online thing can it seems sometimes like you're alone. It's important that we have these types of gatherings. And I think part of the whole lukewarmness or just going through the motions of prayers and reading scriptures, I think having gathered together definitely helps that out. Sorry, I just got a text message from my mom. Ha! Road trips here? Oh, one day. One day. But I tell you, man, today my conversation with the Lord was, it weighed kind of heavy. I was brought to tears today because of the changes that are going on. And I know we're in this state today, and I know it was written, and I know this is stuff that we're supposed to expect. But I still have a feeling of I still have this feeling of wake the F up, people. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. It gets frustrating from time to time, and I think that's part of it too, that makes you just go through the motions of your journey with Christ. Is that sometimes when you try to explain to people, it's like they don't want to hear it or they don't want to believe it. Like, this is the things that we've seen from 2020 to today and going forward. We never saw these kind of things before. I mean, I don't remember seeing, maybe during Hurricane Katrina, right? Maybe those were like the first stories that we heard of our so-called government screwing over the people. Hurricane Katrina back in the early 2000s. 9/11, right? But now it's they don't care. They don't even try to hide it. Shutting down the whole world in 2020. Lahaina last year. North Carolina and the hurricanes in the southeast this year. This is definitely crazy times, man. And these times were written already. There's no there's no such thing as prepare, like not prepare, but there's no such thing as trying to avoid these things because now we're here. So now all we can do at this point is to build our relationship with Christ so he covers us like he did his people back from the last stream I was talking about. He covered his people all the time when they went through the tribulations, and this whole thing with the so-called rapture. Whoever came up with this stuff, man, it's unbiblical, right? God was the same yesterday, he's the same today, and he's going to be the same tomorrow. In all the times, he's always covered his people, and they've always been through it. He's given them warning. In some of these stories, they didn't heed the warnings and wanted to live the way they wanted to live. But today, there's no excuse. There's no excuse today. There's a lot of ways to get the information and make sure you're prepared spiritually. We all understand that no man can fix the mess that sin has done to this world. No man. There is a man who came, though. There is a man who came to save us in the flesh, that he freely went through it for us to bear all our sins. And this is where people don't understand. Well, I didn't ask him to die for me. Well, you should be lucky that he gave it to you anyway. You should be lucky. Let me see what's going on in the chats here. And lately my chat log has been messed up too. Let's see here. Fellowship and food. I wish, man. It'll be a reality one day. It'll definitely be a reality one day, Okay, well you have a good day at work. Don't let me interrupt your work day there. All right. So I'm going to share scriptures here. And I think it's important that I share, especially for the unbelievers, man, to let them know where we're at today. Give me a minute here. We're going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 26. Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 26, And I want to share this, especially there's probably no unbelievers in the chats, probably not. But if somebody so happens to bump into this channel, that's an unbeliever. You want to be able to be ready for what's about to happen, what's going to come. Especially with the selection coming real soon. In about 2 weeks, something like that. In about 2 weeks and some change. Anyhow, we're gonna go here to Isaiah chapter 26, verses 20 through 21, and then I'm gonna go to chapter 27, verses 10 through 13. So it reads here, and this is why we have to establish a relationship with Christ, right? This is why we have to repent from sins, because this is what's going to save us. So it reads here, this is the Lord punishes iniquity. Come, my people, enter thou into my chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. It's happened in the days of old, man, and I'm telling you, it's going to happen again. And I'm not trying to do any kind of fear-mongering here, man. This is not what I'm about. But I'm pleading to people who are not in this journey, man. From a guy who didn't want to have anything to do with Jesus Christ Almighty to a guy who loves Jesus and is trying, to better my relationship with him every day in this walk. Even with my failures every day, I still go to him. He's real. He's changed me in so many ways, man. So here we're on chapter 27, verses 10 through 13. I'm not sure if you guys are able to see that. There we go. Okay. This one's entitled The Desolation of Cities. Because it seems like they're really pushing for, how do I say this? They're really pushing for people to delete each other these days, right? They're really pushing for that Charlie Whiskey. You know what I'm saying? Charlie Whiskey? The C-dub? Yet the defenced city shall be desolate, and the habitation forsaken, and left like a wilderness. There shall the calf feed, and there shall he lie down, and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The women come and set them on fire, for it is a people of no understanding. Therefore, he that made them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will shew them no favor. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship the Lord in the holy mount at Jerusalem. And I understand that some of these promises are for the actual Jews. Now I'm talking about the ones that are believers inside, as opposed to the people who show themselves as the chosen people outside. And that was that was something that I found very interesting while watching, while seeing the visuals of the movie yesterday. I was like, these people who show themselves outwardly, they're very arrogant. They think they're better than other people, not realizing that they're holding the traditions of men, and they're putting the traditions of men more important than God Almighty Himself. It's crazy, man. What's going on, XC? So, also let me kind of share what happened to me yesterday, where, and this all relates to the whole lukewarm thing, or going through the motions. Not lukewarm, but just going through the motions. And I think this is where my thinking of a lot of things, not only within the country, the world, but also within my personal struggles, even though I go to Christ every day. So yesterday I was in my garage. I was working out. And as usual, I always have music. I got music blasting out of my garage, man. And this is like during the day, okay? This is like, what, 10:30 in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning? Typically, people are at work. And nobody's ever complained about my music too loud. Not only that, but I don't play anything vulgar, For lately, I've been playing a lot of 80s music lately. But some dude from a different housing community, which is like not too far from me, but pretty good distance. He comes over and says, "Hey, you mind lowering down your music? It's so loud that I can hear it in my living room, and I'm studying." And being that I was in the middle of a workout when he did this, I was frustrated. I got irritated. So I just lowered it down. I said, yeah, I lowered it down. But I kept holding on to this anger. Like, who is this guy to tell me to? And this is where I started catching myself. I'm like, oh man, I'm resorting to the old self, man. The dude was respectful when he came over. The dude, he was reasonable when he asked me to lower it down. Why am I getting so upset? But I think this is what happens when you go through the motions. You kind of forget. You kind of subconsciously forget that you're supposed to be in this path towards Christ, and your life is supposed to be changing, not because of what you're doing, but because Christ Almighty is molding you. He's changing you, right? But a little bit of my old self started coming back, and I was thinking about this for quite some time yesterday. It took me I was going through this in my mind, and I finally had to say to myself, what am I doing, stupid? Like, he was respectful. He was reasonable. Why are you getting angry? He asked you. He didn't tell you. He didn't come out at you as an a-hole or anything, or he was demanding it. And so I had to say to myself, man, I'm stupid. What am I doing? And this is what happens when we just go through the motions. You start to slide into the old you without even realizing that it's creeping in. Because I didn't realize it. I really didn't. I said to myself, man, why am I reacting this way? Well, I reacted that way because it was pride, man. And I admit, one part of it too is because I don't want to be interrupted when I'm in the middle of my workout, because my mind is set. Like, if I'm in the middle of a workout, I'm set. I don't want to be bugged. Not even a phone call or a text, nothing. Even the stupid YouTube commercials that come up, because I listen to music through YouTube with DJ mixes, and sometimes when those stupid commercials come up, I get mad. So, I had to say to myself, and I had to repent of that. So I said, Lord, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I was sliding back into the old me. It took me a minute to figure out, like, hey, dude, what do you do? Why is this lingering in your heart, dude? Like, let it go. For one, it's not good for your spirit. It's not good for you mentally. It's just going to increase your blood pressure. You know what I mean? For two, the guy was respectful. Three, he He was reasonable for his respect. I mean, for his request. So I'm here, I admit I effed up, man. I messed up. But I'm glad I was able to catch it, because back in my old days, I wouldn't catch that. I'd let pride slip in like nothing, dude, and make me blind and say that I'm right, try to find some kind of justification for me getting angry. But that's not the case. And I couldn't do it without the Lord in my life. He pulled me back, man. He pulled me back from that, because I had to realize that I was wrong. I even shared that story with my wife, and she's like, well, why are you mad? I said, I don't know. But deep down inside, I did know. Stupid me. Give me a minute here. All right. So I don't think I'm going to be keeping you guys too long. I got a meeting I got to go to today, and there's just a few scriptures here that I really want to share, because look, man, we're in it. We're in it. Whether you want to believe that or not, we're in it. And at this point, we really need to strengthen our shields. We need to sharpen our swords. We really need to be more we really need to connect together as much as possible. And I try to engage with people in other people's chats. It's hard for me in the morning, man, because I got to admit, I'm not a morning, even though I've been sleeping early and waking up early lately, I'm still not a morning person. I just can't get myself to be a morning person. I just can't, man. I'm lying down there and I'm listening, and I'm like, I really want to say to everybody that hello, but I'm tired. So, I'm trying. But my plea here is that we don't have any more time. We don't have any more time. I think people should have realized back in 2020 that was it. Because today we see people getting screwed big time by the people who are supposed to be working for us. They're screwing us over. You know what I mean? Let me see what else I got here for scriptures that I want to share. Hold on for a moment. Okay, here we go. Let me just turn my page there. Sorry, I'm trying to do this on the fly, man. Okay, we're gonna go here to we're gonna go to Ezekiel chapter 21. Ezekiel chapter 21. I'm straight up going for the wrath of God today, man. And the reason for that is because we really got to stay prayed up. We really got to be in fellowship as much as we can. We got to encourage each other, man, because we already know that we don't want to be part of we don't want to be a part of what's going to happen to the wicked people here in this world, pretty much, right? So I'm here to share what I can share and remind us that if you don't get right, man, you're what's the saying? You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I'm okay with the stupid prize, man. I'll play the more difficult level, and even though I get defeated every time and time again, at least my heart is trying to strive for the difficult level of the path. No easy button for this dude. And I'm pretty sure you guys share the same sentiment of the easy button not being an option in the times that we're in. Because we're gonna, I'm convinced, man, that these mass casualties is definitely judgment, man. I'm convinced that these are the days of judgment. And what better insurance policy to have than the blood of Christ? Anyhow, this one's titled, this is going to be Ezekiel chapter 21 from verses 1 through 13. And this one's entitled God's Judgment Sword. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face toward Jerusalem, and drop thy word toward the holy places, and prophesy against the land of Israel. And say to the land of Israel, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I am against thee, and will draw forth my sword out of his sheath, and will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked. Seeing then that I will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked, therefore shall my sword go forth out of his sheath against all flesh, from the south to the north. That all flesh may know that I, the Lord, have drawn forth my sword out of his sheath. It shall not return any more. Sigh therefore, thou son of man, with the breaking of thy loins, and with bitterness sigh before their eyes. And it shall be when they say unto thee, Wherefore sighest thou? That thou shalt answer, For the tidings because it cometh, and every heart shall melt, and all hands shall be feeble, and every spirit shall faint, and all knees shall be weak as water. Behold, it cometh, and shall be brought to pass, saith the Lord God. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, and I'm going to pause it right here, man. Look, man, I'm not a prophet or anything like that. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a pastor. I'm just some dude. I'm just some dude who came to Christ because I was broken, right? And there's a lot of us who are just some average people, right? Who have found faith in the Lord and who have found love in Jesus Christ because of his sacrifice. And all we're doing is trying to get we're just trying to spread this kind of word to people, man. Because whatever the world has promised us, or whatever people say how they can fix whatever problem we have, no, it just can't. And I think you guys can share the same sentiment with me as far as like knowing having this relationship with Christ is definitely what can change everything, because we see it in our own lives, right? And we're just here trying to tell people that the time's running out, man. We're trying to build the ark here so that all of us can be saved. But you have to do your part, man. God made it easy. He definitely made it easy. It doesn't mean that it's an easy walk. He made it very simple for us. But for some odd reason, people like to make things complicated. Human beings like to make life complicated. They think it's convenience, but it really is more complicated than it should be. Yeah. Here's a good example, man. I was freaking out this morning because I thought I changed the password on my phone and I locked it. I was like, oh my goodness, I think I changed the password. I didn't change my password, but for the sake of convenience with that stupid phone, it makes it more complicated because now you got all these stupid password protections. You have all these things that you have to verify that's you. How is that convenient? Again, man has made things more complicated than it should be. So God has made it very easy for us. He sent his only begotten son for us. I mean, I don't know how many times I could stress that out. People only make it complicated because they make it complicated for themselves, man. They love themselves so much. They put themselves in such high regard when they really aren't that high in regard, man. Compared to Christ, we're nothing. We're nobody. We're not even a grain of dust. But yet a lot of these people have so much pride in who they are and what they do and whatever social status they have that it's made them so blind when God Almighty made everything so easy to do. If only we would just follow his instructions, man. The problem is a lot of people don't want to. They don't like to be told what to do. But you know, even though you think it may not be good for you, when God gives you instructions for something, maybe when you think when you think for yourself it's not something that you want to do, it's probably good that you do it anyway, because the Lord Almighty knows us better than ourselves. I didn't think I'd be doing something like this, talking about Christ behind a mic. And I know I say this all the time. But I never thought. Never did I think that I would enjoy doing such things like this. Never did I think that having a meaningful conversation with God Almighty every day in prayer, I never thought that would bring me some kind of peace. I never thought about that. But it does. I mean, don't get me wrong. There, like today, some days can be heavy for me. Some days I could be brought to tears, and for legit reasons, I really feel for the suffering of people. I really do. Especially when it comes to children. And it's not right how a lot of people are being, taken away. But this is the end result of sin. This is the result of us not coming to him. This is the result of it. And most of the time, a lot of innocent people get swept away with the wicked ones. But the good news is that the people who actually have a relationship with Christ will only experience death once. And I'm convinced of that. I don't want to experience two sets of death. It's already given for the body. We're all going to expire. That's something that's inevitable. It's going to happen no matter what. But it's the death of the spirit that I don't ever want to experience. Oh, not ever. So I'm going to continue on here. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord, say, a sword. A sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. And he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, and it is furbished, to give it into the hand of the slayer. Cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people, it shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon my thigh, because it is a trial. And what if the sword contemn even the rod, it shall be no more, saith the Lord God. You know, all these stories in the Bible have been given to us for a reason, man. They've all been given to us for a reason. So there really is no excuse for not knowing who Christ is. There really isn't, because so many people can tell you. So many people can tell you, give you the Bible. There's people who actually give you Bibles. If I had a Bible handy, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to somebody if they're willing to, seek truthfully. People are the ones who are rejecting. They're the ones who are saying to themselves that they don't want anything to do with Christ, or they don't care about, they don't believe, or they don't care, or whatever the case is. They're making that choice themselves. And it's very foolish to think that they got it all figured out. I mean, I can admit that I don't know a lot. I know what I know through my experience. And my experience is, in this path with Christ, I never thought I'd be here today. As far as, like, I never thought that I'd be the person that I am today if I didn't have him in my life. I'm glad I made that step, man. I'm glad I went that direction. I'm glad I put my sort of, right? With the story I shared earlier, I'm glad that I put the old self kind of in the shelf a little bit. From time to time, he may creep up. But it's definitely not because of my own doing. It's a change in heart, man. And at least I can recognize these things. Not like before. I found justification for me getting angry at somebody for whatever reason. But today, I catch these things, man. And I think about it, and I'm like, oh man, I was in the wrong, totally in the wrong. And I'm humble enough to own up to my own mistakes. And I'm more than happy to share that kind of stuff here with you guys, because I'm pretty sure you're human just like me. So you probably go through the same stuff that I go through. When you have a point where you just, your wickedness comes out a little bit. We all go through that. Just because God has given this to us and made it easy for us, like I said, it's not an easy journey. It's a journey. That's why I call it a journey, man. Because there are days where it's like really good, man. Like, man, I didn't think about anything that's bad. That's great. And then there's other days where it's like, man, it's just piling up in my brain, sometimes in my heart. I tell you one thing, man. I never had this kind of peace and this kind of honesty. I never had this kind of honesty and peace before. And I'm always going to thank the Lord Jesus Christ for it, because I ask him to teach me to love like him. I ask him to teach me to have the patience like him. I ask him these things. And little by little, I'm building up to it. I still got a lot of work to do. But little by little, it changes. I never thought that I'd care about the well-being of other people, but I really do. When people tell me to pray for them because of the things that they're going through in their life, I beg Christ to bless you with whatever it is that for whatever healing you need, whatever situation that you're going through a hard time. I beg the Lord that you go through it, with strength. And I beg for myself and my family too. But I never had that kind of caring, that type of caring I never had before. I was a very selfish person, man. I could care less about what you were going through. You know what I would say? You put yourself in that situation. That was my attitude before. I used to say that to a lot of crooks, man. You put yourself there. You decide. You had the choice. But today I understand that there could be circumstances that people are just up against that put them in the spot that they're in, that they had to do what they had to do. But that doesn't justify sin. And I know there are people out there that use substances that can, that can mess their brains up to help them make a sound decision. But honestly, man, when people go that route with the substance abuse, that's a spiritual thing. You're inviting spirits to make decisions for you that you shouldn't be doing or dabbling in. So I would go as far as to say that that's a heart problem with the spirit, We live a lot more spiritual. This world is a lot more spiritual than people think. They think it's just about what they see or what they hear, what they, with the senses. They think it's just that. But this life has definitely has a lot more to it than we think. And I think the spiritual realm is a lot more it's a lot more stronger than people think it is. People don't understand that, man. Because it's this, whether it's a bad spirit or good spirit, it's the one that dictates what your heart is feeling. And the only way you're going to be in good terms of a good spirit is having a good relationship with Christ, man. Because he's the one who allows the Holy Spirit to work within you. When you start putting stuff into your body that'll alter your mind, that's when you're choosing to be separate from God. And I understand. I've seen people on withdrawals, and it's horrible. But sometimes you got to go through something like that to remind you that you ought not put that kind of stuff in your body. Sorry, I know I've been on the chats here for a minute, man. Wait, what's going on, Sister Joy? Good to see you out there. I hope you're feeling better, man. I hope you're feeling better. I'm just reading the chats here. Eric says they can believe in a Mother Earth goddess, but no creator of everything God. Isn't that weird? They give credence to the quote. I'm putting this in air quotes, man. They give credence to this thing called the Mother Earth, right? This whole New Age stuff. They give so much credence to that. But yet, they don't give credence to the one who created everything. Baffles my mind, man. But people want to hear what they want to hear. And that's the state that we're in. People just want to hear what they want to hear. They want to see what they want to see. Luke says, my friend gave me a Bible that I left collecting dust for the most part the first couple years, but got around to read it a lot now. Praise Jesus, he drew me near to him. His words bring life. It absolutely does, man. It does. And I was the type of dude that reading a Bible, that was foreign to me. I'm like, reading a Bible? Jeez. But man, that's my communication with Christ. Scriptures is. Sometimes I have questions that I need answered, And I definitely go to scriptures to look for my answers. You know? That's why they call it a living book. You know what I'm saying? Because it changes you. It really does. And people they don't want to believe that. They don't want to believe that the God, not only the gospel but the whole Bible. Of course you can't prove that that's the actual words of God, but I tell you what, man, if this Bible can change lives, which it has done for so many people throughout so many years, that should speak for itself. A huge part of my transformation of the old me to the me today is because having to read scriptures to know the characteristics of Christ, to know a little bit of history of what happened to the people who disobeyed him, and also to see the rewards of the people who did obey him, and to see the struggles that people, even the people of the Old Testament, even everybody in that book, a lot of people were going through some struggles there, man. David went through Moses went through a whole struggle. Abraham, they all did. Everybody in this book went through a struggle, man. Just because their names are revered because of after what happened, what they went through the same, maybe not the same, maybe through more serious stuff back then than we do every day. But they've had their struggles. We have our struggles. But when they stuck with it, they were rewarded greatly. And this is why I'm trying to tell people, like, dude, don't. This world ain't got anything good for you, man. Can't you see that the world it can't even sustain a lifeline today? It really can't. You see it. You see the hearts of people. You don't need a so-called antichrist to realize that wickedness is here. You see the hearts of people today, and you know that the presence of the prince of this world is here today. He's here. He's always been here, but we're in it now. We're definitely in it now. I thank you guys for being here, man. I really do. Because being somebody who's in this journey, it can be tough by myself. It really is a blessing to be around people who see the same things I see, who hear the same things I hear, who look at Jesus Christ Almighty with the same eyes, man. We don't argue amongst each other. Even if there may be a little bit of doctrine that may be different with some people, what I really appreciate about this whole community is that in general, we're walking in one accord toward the same direction. We're definitely not here to say that this person, that person, or whatever the case is. We're here to lift each other up, man, because we understand how difficult. Oh man, 2024. Since 2020 has been heavy. It's been heavy, and it's only getting heavier every single day that passes. I just can't wait till the day comes where that weight is just lifted off. I'm glad that I know that I'm not the only one. Not to say that I enjoy having a hard time. No, I don't. I don't enjoy being in a hard time. So why would I enjoy you being a hard time? It's just good to know that I'm not alone in it. The best thing about this community, man, is the encouragement. And if there's any way, if there's anything that I can say, or if there's anything that I can pray about for any of you guys, I do it. And I don't necessarily ask, because I already know I'm included. You know? I already know that I'm included with people's prayers. And I always make sure to include everybody in my prayer list, because we all need it. We all need it. There are days that I don't even ask the Lord for what I want or what I need. I ask him to grant what you guys want. There are days like that, because there are days where I just look past myself. And look, I don't ask for things in a selfish way. I ask for things so I can provide for my family, but not only that, but also for improving me in this walk. But there are days where I just can't. I don't feel the need to ask for me, because I know that my fellow brethren probably need it more than I do. There are days like that. Let's see what's going on here in the chats. Welcome in, Mary Shmee. Is that how you say it? Thank you for coming in. Shulamite says, in the public in general has access to the scriptures. The ancients didn't have that, only the priesthood. We are truly blessed. Absolutely. Well, not only do we have, man, there is just no excuse, because there are a bunch of people out there who preach the gospel. There's a lot of street preachers out there, man, and hey, God bless those guys. If they're doing it for the right reasons, God bless those guys, because I couldn't do it. And I'm just, the only reason why I couldn't do it is because like I shared the story of some dude who, you know, can you please lower down? I got upset about that, and I know me. I can't, when it comes to stupid conversations, I just can't give attention to that, you know? I don't want to waste my time with that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people who would say stupid things to these preachers to get a reaction from them. You know? Mary Shmee says, I was just talking to a friend about how I seriously believe that oh, never mind. I don't want to... I appreciate that, Joy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, probably going to close it up, because I got to start getting ready for my meeting today. And I'm hoping to catch this gig, man. There's going to be this Korean barbecue restaurant that's going to be opening up over here that I'm possibly going to be DJing for next week Saturday. I'm hoping to, because I've eaten at this restaurant before, man. And it's good stuff, man. So I'm hoping to get that gig. And it looks like it's going to be a very good paying one. I'm trying to see what I'm going to... Let me see here. Don't mind me. I'm going to be opening up my book here real quick for the final read of the night. I notice I've been going to Romans a lot, especially for the closers. Okay. Yeah, we're going here, man. We're going here. We're going to Romans. We're going to Romans. Paul definitely wrote some really good stuff here, man. And you know what, man? The stuff that Paul went through, man. his transformation and what he became, what he was to what he became, that is a phenomenal transformation, man. You want to talk about a dude who was, trying to get rid of a lot of Christ followers, man, and all of a sudden become a huge mouthpiece for Christ, man. That is a phenomenal change. And if Paul's story can't convince somebody that Jesus is real, I mean, there's a lot of stories in the Bible that can that can testify to the transformation of what Christ can do for you. If they don't seek those out honestly, then they'll never know. Okay, so this one's going to come off of Romans chapter 12 from verses 9 through 21. 9 through 21. And this one's entitled, Overcome Evil with Good. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love, in honor preferring one another. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation. Oh man, this right here, man, patient in tribulation is probably one of the most difficult things that's gonna be, which is why I keep encouraging people, man. You got to build your relationship. You got to have faith. You got to let go of the worries sometimes, man. You just got to put it in the hands of God, because there's a lot of things that we can't handle that you just have to let go. And you be fooling yourself to think that you're going to be able to do it on your own when you're not. We're not built that way. We're built to surrender ourselves to Christ, and he's the one who handles the stuff that we can't. And I'll be honest, I'm probably going to be going through, trying to have patience in tribulation. And like I said earlier, right? We go through these going through the motion times. It's hard to say something like, just continue on, just continue on. I mean, it's easy to say that, but sometimes it's hard to do it. When your heart's not in it, it's difficult. But I get there sometimes, and I want you to know, if you're going through something like that, don't feel like you're the only one, because I go through it too. But that's why you got to keep in constant prayer and communication with Christ, so that he keeps you straight, and keep on reading scriptures, man. It's better to be there. It's better to be doing that as opposed to just saying to yourself, forget it, I give up. For me at this point, I'm so far in my walk that there's no way, there's not a thought that I can't go back, man. I've climbed, and I'm still climbing up a steep hill, and I've climbed so far up that hill that I can't. I just can't. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. Wow, funny. I was just saying that, right? Distributing to the necessities of saints, given to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. That's going to be a difficult thing too, man. Because I find myself, man, look, I ain't going to lie, dude. I find myself, like, I think I've admitted to this, like, on my last stream, that I said, man, when the F are these people going to wake up? And I said it. And it was like one of these, I haven't cussed in a long time, but I just did because I was angry. And, I really don't want that stuff to be part of my language, man. But when you're pissed, you're pissed. And I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm just saying that it says here not to curse, and I know what that curse means, but nonetheless, a curse is a curse, right? Rejoice with them that do rejoice. And this is where you guys come into play, man. Right? Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. This is our community, man. And this is one of the things that keeps us not in that lukewarm state, because we need to be reminded from time to time. We do. And I love when people start throwing out scriptures out there. You know who's good at that? Axiom Descent, man. Always whoosh, whoosh. It's like clockwork, man. He throws them scriptures out. The last stream that Hulk had, man, I saw that. He was throwing out a lot of scriptures out there. But I rejoice with my fellow brethren, and I weep with my fellow brethren. I do. Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. I'm trying, man. Especially with the enemies part, I am trying. I'm trying. Dearly beloved, and this is key right here, man. I think this is where things will tend to make sense with our anger against the people who do harm to us, right? Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. And you know, when I was going through my ordeal at my old job, this particular stuck out to me. I've shared it before, man. I could have sued the department. I could have had a good payout because of, defamation of character for me and all this stuff. But you know what? I made a decision that I'm not going to be part of this world anymore. I won't conform to how this world works. Even if I was going to financially gain, no. Because there's something better out there. And besides, there are certain battles that are not mine to fight. I may be a victim in some of these battles, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the one who comes back for the vengeance. Especially when it's bigger than what I can do. I leave it all to Christ, man. For the battles that are bigger than for me to deal with, this particular verse stuck out to me. Because it's not my battle. Nor is the battle for all the wickedness that is going on in this world. All I can do is try to plead with people to come with us. Don't miss the bus. Don't miss this bus. Because once it's gone, it's gone. You can't wait for the next one to come, because the next thing to come after that bus is going to be a sword. You waited too long. Verse 20. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but this one right here is beautiful, beautifully ended. But overcome evil with good. The truth is, it's a difficult thing, but this is what we're commanded to do. Oh, man. I just wish the world would come to Christ, man. Instead of partaking of all the fakeness that's going on, man. Vote for this guy, vote for that girl. This party, that party. When will people realize, man? When will people realize that it's not real? They'll never know. And to be quite honest, man, I think when people start getting duped, if Orange Man wins And when people start getting duped, they're going to be like, oh man, we should, oh yeah, he was the wrong person. Now we got to look for another guy. You're going to be like that, dude. When all along people like us have been saying, no, 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 you got to put your faith in the Lord. The Lord is the only Savior that we have at this point. There's nothing that can be done that every time man has had his hands in these things, it just becomes worse. And honestly, man, they can't hide it anymore. They just can't. They just can't, man. Anyhow, so far, this Sunday I won't be live. I'll try to see if I can go live sometime in the mid of the week next week. And also so far next week Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but the next Sunday I'll be on. So far, I got to check my calendar, but I'm pretty sure I'm open next Sunday. Not this Sunday, but the next one. But I'll also try to hop on middle of the week. If you follow me, if you press subscribe and the subscribe bell and all that stuff, I'll post it. I'll post everything on the community tabs. Even when I'm late for my delivery for the mail every day, I make sure to put that on that I post. Like last night, I was late for the delivery because I was caught up with doing work. So I just want people to know that on top of doing these streams, I have to work too. I have to grind, because if I don't have work, man, it's you know how it goes. I grind for what I grind for my living. I don't get a paycheck every 2 weeks like I used to, a fat one at that. It's not like that anymore for me. But honestly, man, when the curtains are drawn at the end of my life, man, I'll be glad to leave this earth in content of the decision that I've made to be of service to people doing this, and having to spend a lot more time with my family and grow with them, even through the hard times, especially in the time that we're living today. I'd make that decision over and over again, because there is just no way, at how things are going with police and military, who are given our radio code that we used to use for clearance is 913. Our military and police are given the 913 to regulate. And for people like us who rely on scriptures to share everything that we can with this holy book, this is already becoming deemed as particular kind of speech, man. And who knows how much time we got left for all this stuff here in the YouTubes or in any kind of platform. And to be honest, man, I think other platforms too are compromised. It's a whole data collection thing. I'm convinced that a lot of these social media platforms, or even these streaming platforms, they're all data mining platforms to get to know who we are. Nonetheless, man, I thank you guys for being here. I'm very grateful to be in a part of a community that not only sees and hears the things that I do. Clearly, we see it. But most importantly, that we give praises to our Almighty King, the only Savior that we have, who has already come. He came to save. And he promised the next time that he comes, he will be bringing a sword. I don't want to be in the way of that sword. I want to be behind that sword. I want to be behind him, not in front of him when he draws that sword out. So I just try to do best I can. And I hope people would earnestly look and reach out to him and seek him. Because if he can change a dude like me, not to say that I'm very bad or I was very bad. I mean, I was bad. My heart was of stone, that's for sure. But if he's able to change a person like me, he's definitely able to change. Man, if he can change a person like the Apostle Saul to Paul, come on, man. That's power. That's power, dude. You know what I mean? Anyhow, you guys have a wonderful evening. And look, man, we're in the times already. You don't have to think about, oh, when is this time going to happen? We're in it already. Okay? Don't waste your time about trying to figure out when we're going to be in the times, because we're in it. We've been in it for a while already. If you cannot see what they're doing to the people, then you're going to miss it. Today, continue to pray. Stay prayed up. And I'll always stress this out. Continue to stay prayed up. Continue to read the scriptures. Even when you feel yourself going through the motions, man, fill yourself. Go seek out a YouTube channel that'll inspire you to get that flame back up. But stay in the fight, man. Stay in the fight, because, like I said, the devil wants us on the fence. He wants us to be comfortable, lukewarm. Anyhow, you guys have a wonderful evening, man, and I'm grateful that I even have a crowd of people to fellowship with and to share my ideas and to share scriptures with, and to just to be a cheerleader for those who are going through it when it's not easy. Because I share that my journey's not easy sometimes. I always share my faults, like I did today. So, before I go, let me see what's going on in the chats. Hello, Shepherd's Voice. Thank you for coming here. Daryl talking about pronouns? We don't play that game around here, my friend. Oh, man. Oh, man. Joy, that's right. If you don't work, you don't eat. Scriptures. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, man. But you know what? I'm glad. I'm honestly glad that I am out of the system, man. Because I see it. I saw these videos that I've been seeing with cops who are just telling these people who lost everything in their house that they're threatening them to take them to jail because they're trying to scoop up what's left of their house or what they can find. Dude, that is embarrassing. Even the cops that were reacting in certain ways in Lahaina to people who were telling them, oh, you can't be here, you can't. No, man, that is, you just don't realize how much that pisses me off. It pisses me off. Not to say that I'm anybody, but being somebody who was a very pro, if it wasn't even a real thing, a pro-Constitution person, and it bugs me. It bugs me. Anyhow, much love to you guys, for reals. Stay prayed up. Read your scriptures. Try to keep that fire burning within your heart for Christ, man. Just try. Don't get caught off guard, because the devil will take advantage of that. Trust me, and he has with me. He already has a few times. But don't feel alone when you start feeling that way. Don't feel like you're the only one who's feeling. Don't doubt. Just keep on going. Just keep on going. Because I go through the same thing too. Anyhow, you guys have a wonderful evening. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful time with your friends and your family. Continue to pray for everybody, man. And I'll see you whenever I see you. God bless you guys, and good night.